$1,400 fourth stimulus check for Social Security, SSI, SSDI beneficiaries. I have all the details and what you need to know right here on this topic. So let's get into and discuss all of them. First up, many people need additional money, whether it's a massive raise in monthly benefits, whether it's a one-time stimulus check, whether it's ongoing monthly payments, or some kind of relief. Something needs to be done. Well, before we get into this, I just want to throw it out there that as of right now, the $1,500 stimulus check has not been approved yet. I want to make it very clear so we are on the same page here, and I want to talk through some very important timelines because some pretty key deadlines are coming out here. Number one, a key date that's very important is the end of the fiscal year, September 30th. So the fiscal year for the federal government actually runs from October the 1st through September 30th. Well, guess what? We are rapidly approaching the end of the fiscal year. Why do we care though? Let me tell you a couple of reasons why we care about this. Number one, this is where spending is actually allocated. The next fiscal year, the federal budget is very important because they are coming up at the end of it. In other words, they got to figure out their next fiscal year budget. We also recognize that Congress basically has the opportunity to use reconciliation between now and the end of the fiscal year. Once the new fiscal year begins, they kind of lose that opportunity with their wild card to use reconciliation. Well, we do think that they might want to use this by all means, right? Remember, any time between now and October, it's going to be way easier to get the thing going versus waiting until after October. So we know right now, time is of the essence and very important to get this done. We just have to continue watching Congress lawmakers and what they are actually doing rather than what they're actually saying, because we know how things work, right? So that's also something else that we need to take into consideration as well. Something else I wanted to throw up for you as well is that we also need to keep a very close eye on in early November, about a month after the new fiscal year begins. Guess what happens? Well, you probably know that the midterm election, right? Very important time frame. It's not going to be that long until we're at the midterm elections. Here's the thing, by the way, this is not a political statement in any shape or form. Pretty much all politicians do stuff like this. The end of the fiscal year is coming on September 30th. We know that if they were to get legislation done and use reconciliation before, then they can absolutely do that. And yet, they can add a stimulus check to the legislation if they just wanted to do. So based on history over the last couple of years, as we've received a stimulus check, generally how long does it take for those to be distributed? Well, it's usually anywhere between about, in the shortest case scenario, and a couple of days, like 40 hours is how likely checks will go out. But generally they go out 1 week after the bill is signed into law by the president. Will generally go out 1 week up to about 2 or 3 weeks after the bill is signed into law. So check this out. Let's just say that they wanted to pass a package right before the end of the fiscal year. They could do this until the end of September, and they could pass a reconciliation bill, and they could add a stimulus check to it. Then guess what? The president could wait a few days to sign the bill. If he signs the bill, then maybe they kind of kick the can down the road. They poke around for a while, and maybe they issue the treasury, and the IRS is set to start sending out those payments. And all of a sudden, here we are in mid-October, or maybe the second, third week of October, and they start sending out conveniently about 2 weeks right before the midterm elections. saying this could be a scenario that plays out. And this has literally put money into the pockets of people literally 2 weeks before the midterm elections. That could be dropping checks in the bank accounts a week before or a couple of days, 2 weeks before the midterm elections. And they then basically just say, at this point in mid-October, we will start dropping payments conveniently right before the midterm elections coming up, or throw that out there. Alright, I'm just simply saying this is a scenario that could play out, and that would be a pretty strategic move on the part of lawmakers if they just wanted to do that. Drop some money into the pockets of the people right before the midterm elections. We've seen it happen before in the last couple of years since early 2020. We've seen 3 different checks go out right before the key elections. Remember, I just want to say it could happen again, and we could also get something after the new fiscal year. I want to see what's going on with the economic data, the unemployment rate, the initial jobless claims, and people applying for unemployment. The Federal Reserve has a lot of different factors here that may be what's going on in the recession. Because any one of these could actually be the catalyst for additional checks or some kind of money to go out to people who we have to take into consideration all of this. To wrap up, as of right now, another check has not been approved yet. Realistically, I'm not even sure if Congress knows what they have on their sleeves anymore. But again, anything could be done. They can do these things that we've been asking of them. Anyways, I hope this topic helps you out again. Enjoy your day and I will catch you later. Goodbye.